welcome to the first of what will probably end up being a long series of videos in which basically we're going to be counting down to how long it takes for Kerbal Space Program 2 to be a playable game, and while we're waiting, we're just going to be pretty much doing anything that is requested or that I feel like doing in Kerbal Space Program 1, exploring the game, and we'll be doing it in career mode, of course, since, I always like the challenge of it. This won't be a normal gaming series or something like that in which everything is shown. The important stuff will of course be shown, and I'll try to do my best in order to make sure that not that everything important's in there, of course, and that you aren't being left behind. But this mainly serves the purpose of just showing how much can be done in Kerbal Space Program 1 while we wait for Kerbal Space Program 2 to be ready to play. I went ahead and used our first vessel that you saw me making there in the explanation to go ahead and do some science scumming, of course, which if you've never played Kerbal Space Program, science scumming is pretty much whenever you go to either the launch pad or the runway and you collect what is in all actuality completely useless information for the pure purpose of just getting the tiniest amounts of science possible. And now that we've done that, we can actually kind of get to the fun part of launching our little spacecraft here. I mean, it's basically just a glorified, like a glorified portable lighter here, but I mean, that's pretty much our entire mission's done at this point now that we're in the air here, and I'll go ahead and skip to whenever we're back at the Space Center. After landing what I would probably call one of the most graceful landings possible, we actually have enough science now to go ahead and research some parts that will be just pretty much useful for our spacecraft, so we no longer are flying a portable lighter. Instead, we're basically flying something with the power of a smart car. I've gone ahead and taken the time to go ahead and make an actual spacecraft that will leave Kerbin's atmosphere this time around. If for some reason you would like to see the actual construction of the spacecraft in the future, please just let me know, and I'll try my best to go add it in. Well, not really as priorly mentioned, but this is pretty much my first time ever really delving into YouTube, and so I want to try my best to make sure that my work is the best. And I'm going to go ahead and launch this thing. So before I do, however, I will explain kind of the parts. So this is pretty much the part, like the first part, the main part really. This should get us out of the atmosphere, and I have taken the liberty of adding a small flea booster that used to be our entire rocket on the first one. That will get us into maybe not an orbit, but something. If it doesn't get me to an orbit, it's going to be pretty close. And we've got Jeb along for the ride, and also brand new thing, of course, I need to start science scumming immediately, which is the thermometer. So yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked this thing is flying, to be honest. I was expecting to have put too many tanks. So I'll go ahead and take some time as this thing kind of leaves Kerbin's atmosphere to kind of explain a bit more about the series. This wasn't intended as some form of kind of like I'm not trying to dump on KSP2 or something. I think the game I think the game definitely has some quality to it. I just think it needs a bit more time being it needs to be worked on a bit more before I think it's really playable, and that's pretty much what the series is, which is just, as mentioned, showing everything we can do while we wait for KSP2 to be ready to be played. We're pretty much at the periapsis of our trajectory. I was kind of hoping that we'd be able to angle it a bit more. I will say that the atmosphere was not letting me do anything. So I don't think we're going to reach orbit this time, but I do think we can get pretty far. And actually, I stand corrected. I think it's not possible. It can't be. Oh yeah, it's not possible. We did not get orbit, but we did get pretty close to it, and still got high enough to get some science, and so that's mission accomplished in my opinion. All we need to do now is just kind of wait until we get back onto the surface and probably the ocean, hopefully, and just gonna bring that science back so we can get a better spacecraft and hopefully reach orbit. We've gone ahead and landed back down on Kerbin. It was It was actually a pretty decent landing. I was kind of concerned that my thing was going to burn up without heat shields. But yeah, we're back on Kerbin, and it's time to go ahead and just research some more parts. Actually, I kind of research everything I can because I'm pretty science poor at the moment. But yeah, I let me see. I did not get the engine I wanted. So since I just got a new research part and I didn't get the part I wanted, and it's not a lot of science away, we're gonna go back to science scumming again and just we're gonna go read the pressure readings on the launch pad, which I doubt anybody has ever tried before for any reason, and because this is just new information that yields great science to our program. And was that enough to get? Was it enough? Yes, it was. Okay, we're back in business. Yep, I just need that Terrier engine, and that will get us into orbit here. Right now, whenever I finish the spacecraft, gone ahead and made our second rocket here, and it's a lot like well, actually, I guess it's our third rocket if we're counting the glorified grill lighter from earlier. And yeah, it's got some new parts on it, like we've got these 3 little boosters on the bottom, the main stage, and then we have the Terrier engine up here, which will pretty much this is actually going to take us into orbit, and we have a heat shield this time, so hopefully Jebediah doesn't come back as a pile of ash. That said, I have not researched struts yet, so there is a very real possibility. I completely forgot about that. That's my budget gone. After that little financial setback, we are ready to fly now. That said, I'm a little okay. I'm no longer concerned. I was expecting these little boosters here to go wild, but that's just me used to the insanity that is Kerbal Space Program 2. And I had to go to the mystery goo mostly because I had too many parts and I just was not feeling like bankrupting the space program, so I just got rid of the mystery goo, and went ahead and just kept all of the newer parts on it, since the alternative was to upgrade the vehicle assembly building, which would have cost me an arm and a leg and basically kneecapped the space program's funding. Yeah. Let's see, can I turn yet? Nope. I'm still stuck going straight up. We're once again at the periapsis of our trajectory here, and we should hopefully reach orbit this time. I do have some more confidence now that I have that Terrier engine right here, and Jeb seems pretty cool with this whole thing, considering he's the first guy to ever try this in this little world right now. Come on. Ooh, I overshot just a little bit. Did I? Oh yeah, I did. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. What can I say? We're pretty high up, since I can't really tell where our periapsis is, so I just kind of guessed until I knew it was not in the atmosphere. But yeah, we're in space right now, and might as well go ahead and read some of our data here. And yeah, there's no air in space. Who would have thought about that at all? So we have reached orbit around Kerbin now. We have enough fuel to deorbit. I want to get at least one full orb around us so Jeb can get one of those little stars here and I don't have to guess where prograde is anymore. You can just see how excited Jeb is about this whole being the first, not only the first guy in space, but the first guy to orbit. You can just kind of see excitement on him. You see him there clapping his little hands. It's time to go ahead and initiate the deorbiting burn. I went ahead and made our orbit a little bit more asymmetrical just so I could go ahead and collect data from space far high above Kerbin, just so I get that little bit of science boost so I don't have to go make it part of our next mission here. And yeah, you can see that Jeb's super excited to go home. Can you just look at that? That's honestly what keeps me playing Kerbal Space Program whenever my missions fail out here. Just looking at this, the true beauty of computer-generated space. We're back at the Space Center, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here just with I'll also go ahead and kind of lay out the groundwork for our future missions. So next episode, I'm hoping that I will go ahead and send out a one-way probe out to the moon, go get some data there, and we're going to kind of imitate what happened in real life in terms of the lunar program of the 50s and 60s, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Please leave any suggestions in the comments below about how I can improve pretty much anything about this channel. And thank you for watching, and see you next time.